one too.
What is up, fight fans? We are back for another special interview here on the South Florida Tribune. This is the real and the rare. I'm being joined by former two-time world champion boxer. Let's see if I don't butcher this name properly. Is it Regis Prograis?
Nope, you butchered. Prograis. Regis Prograis.
Prograis. Okay.
Prograis. Not Prograis. Prograis. Regis Prograis.
See, this is why all the color commentators and all they talk to you before the fight, so when they go on air, they don't sound like freaking idiots. Like I just
do. They know exactly. They know who it is. Right.
I did read some when I was looking you up. So your nickname translates to Wolverine.
Really? I never heard. That's my first time ever hearing that.
I think, is it Wolverine or is it?
It's the werewolf.
Werewolf. That's what it was. That's what
I said Wolverine. No, not Wolverine, bro. Yeah, not that would be fire. I never heard.
So that was werewolf. And that comes from your Native American heritage, correct?
Basically, yeah. Like, so it's kind of so basically like how the name really came out. The mask came from my Native American heritage, right? So the mask came out when the nickname came out. I was like 4-0 or something like that at the time. And my dad and my manager and my trainer at the time, they was going back and forth with nicknames. So it's throwing out a bunch of names. And they were saying a bunch of kind of lame names and stuff like that. But my dad was like Rougarou. And my manager at the time, he was like, bro, that's it. And it stuck. It kind of stuck. And so really what happened, and I didn't even like the name at first, to be honest. I didn't like the nickname. But then I had my 10th fight in Houston, and I came out with the mask. Like Mike Tyson and Roberto Duran, my two favorite fighters. So Mike Tyson, but I started watching Mike Tyson first. So Mike Tyson always came out with the shirt off, and I was like, damn, I want to do that, but I'm not going to do it just like Tyson. So my 10th fight, I fought here in Houston, and I came out with some small black shorts on like I wanted to. I came out with no shirt, but I wore a mask. And the crowd went, they went crazy about it. They loved it. And so after that night, it just stuck. The Rougarou, that's when it was born for real.
I have this saying, nicknames are always the best when you're no part of it. When you have this saying and when it just kind of gets thrown upon you. And
right.
It's not always going to be something we love either.
Exactly.
When you're younger, especially when you're younger, and it's like from a family member, whatever the nickname is, freaking hate it.
Yeah, exactly. You hate it when you're young. Yeah, when I was young, I had a bunch of different nicknames. I didn't really like them too much, but I always stuck to my own name. But I always knew my name was kind of rare and special, so I just I'd rather be my own name. Who are you? And people call me different names, but I'm like, yeah, I'm Regis. I never say nothing different.
And you touched on another thing. It's something I talk to a lot of the fighters. And there's a certain energy that you guys share with the vast fans when you walk out. It's almost from what I've heard from other fighters, it's almost like another drug. You got the walkout that a lot of fighters get from going from the back to going out to the ring. There's a shared energy, so to speak.
Yes, it is for sure. It's definitely something that's you can't replace it with nothing else. I mean, I don't do drugs anyway, but it's something that it's definitely something that I will miss, but it's something that it's a drug you can't replace.
Yeah, it's just from just about every fighter I've come across, that's why a lot of fighters go to that entertainment road. They want to connect with their fans even more, and I still think the walkout for combat sports it's sometimes it's almost better than the fight sometimes, just because one, just you already know the connection that a lot of especially when it's local, but as you get bigger, it gets even bigger when you're in these bigger venues. But I it's something that I think combat sports has kind of just slowly just slide off, and it's not what it used to be like 10, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When I mean, when you even go back 20 years, like when you see the walkouts that a lot of the boxers used to do, that used to be the spectacle more than actually watching the fight. Is like, how is Princess Ian Rockman, how's he going to
Right.
walk out, and what craziness is he's going to do for this fight? So
Mm-hmm. Right. Prince Nassim Hamed. Hmm.
yeah, yes.
Right.
I just,
Mm-hmm.
I just said Rockman, didn't
Yeah, he said right. Yes, heavyweight. Heavyweight ain't like big
I?
man, little man. Big man, little man.
I just put two fighters in the one.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's probably because Rockman's son's one of this next generation of nepotism that we've seen in boxing. I mean, you got Tommy Morrison's son. He's kind of
Right.
looks like he's been fading more towards bare knuckle over the last year or so. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
there's rumors that he's going to be doing his second fight soon
Mm.
for BKFC.
All
Uh,
right. Right.
you got Rockman's son, and you see it all across sports. I mean, um, you got Joey Porter and his son, keeping the family lineage going there in Pittsburgh. Even
Mm-hmm.
here in Philadelphia, we got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was somebody we just recently drafted within the last few years. His dad, senior, was a part of the Donovan McNabb era in Philadelphia. Do you think it's
Okay.
a weird thing, or is it? I think it's a good thing in sports that we're seeing a lot of, you know, uh, athletes' sons being able to follow the athletic dream or the follow the athletic line of the family, where we haven't seen it as much, at least in my opinion, that over time. I think over the last 10 years or so, we've seen more and more of the quote unquote nepotism in sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's yeah, we definitely seeing it like a lot more right now. It just always is. Yeah, it's always hard to follow in your father's footsteps. When your father was great, but I do see a lot of people, a lot of fighters, a lot of just athletes, pure. They all doing it right now. So it's always better to follow in somebody's footsteps when
Yeah.
they did it before you. It's definitely easier. Sometimes I wish I had that. I never had a sibling or nobody that boxed before. I did everything by myself, but I definitely feel like if I would have had that, it would have been a lot better for me.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we've seen it all. Like, look, Michael Jordan had three sons. Not a single one of them turned out to be a basketball player. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. You don't always have to follow your dad's footsteps, because some people just like mentally, you can't handle that pressure. Some
Right.
people are made to be put in the fire, and some people weren't.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like you see instances where you would just have to say, like, the genes on that one have to be great. Well, sometimes it's not. So it
Mhm.
really is a hard thing to follow in the footsteps. I just think I just think it's a cool thing that we're seeing more and more. I mean, I think the sport we see it the most, and I put sport in quotations, is pro wrestling.
Okay. Right.
Like you see a lot of the stuff that in the family type of things that I think you see it more in pro wrestling than we see in any other sport. But that's just because
Hmm.
the nature of touring when you're a pro wrestler. But
Hmm.
now obviously just went out there April 11th, didn't get the result you want. Uh, Connor Benn obviously has been getting headlines for multiple different reasons.
Hmm.
I talk about this a lot just because I want to get everyone's perspective on it. Is it like a tough pill to swallow when you've put in all this work throughout your career? You get matched up for a fight and you see the pay disparity, and like, I mean,
It's like.
obviously we don't count everyone's bags and things of that nature. Like I'm not one, like, I'm like, if I was in a situation like you, I wouldn't be jealous of it, but I just think that when we look at combat sports, and it's not necessarily just a boxing problem, it's I think it's across combat sports, whether it's MMA, where it's bare knuckle, whatever. I don't think that the athletes are paid what they should be paid,
Well,
and that's and
yeah, I
that's just,
mean,
I think, because you guys are playing through a broken system.
yeah, I mean, at the same time, I feel like everybody was talking about kind of men getting 15 million, but listen, I don't even think that's true. People saying that, but honestly, I don't think it's true. For me, I don't care about it. I didn't care what he was getting paid, because that don't have nothing to do with me. I know what I got paid, so I didn't really care about that. But at the same time, I don't think it was true. people are saying that stuff, but I don't think it was true for a one fight deal. If that's the case, I don't. Why did he go right back to Zuffa? I mean, I don't see it was true. If it is true, listen, for me, I congratulate him. I say that leading up to the fight. I said, look, if it's true, man, congratulations. That's good for you. Like I as a fighter, you want to see another fight getting paid. That's great. Like for me, I knew. I knew that was my last fight, so I knew I was at the end of my career. For him, he's kind of just starting, not just starting up, but he's in the middle. So listen, congratulations to him. I'm
Yeah,
not a one to be jealous or nothing like that. If he did, I don't believe he got paid 15 million for that one fight. But listen, if he did, I I I'm
that's off,
glad.
right? That's off to him.
Hats off to him. I'm glad for him.
I say it like this: like I'm not one that like I don't think that Connor Benn shouldn't have got paid whatever he got paid, whether it is or it isn't that
Mhm.
number that that's not for us to debate
Right.
about. My thing is I want to see the bottom guy on the card not being paid peanuts, nickels, and dimes. You know,
Hmm.
I think that regardless if you're, the fight, the amateur that's turning pro, or the seasoned guy that's now headlining his 10th, 15th, 20th event. Um, I think there should be a line like where you guys are able to, if this is going to be your profession and what you're going to chase. I think you guys should be taken care of properly, where you're not where you hear these stories, even still into the UFC these days, where some of these guys got two different other jobs on top of still trying to be a professional athlete, and they're just juggling everything in between. And I just think we should, where all the sports are as a whole right now, we shouldn't be talking about you know um, this guy's working at a tire store, or this guy's working in some type of business banking and things of that. We shouldn't be hearing these stories. We should be hearing how they're in the gym all the time, and they're homesick because they want to see their family, not because they're homesick because they want to see their family because they're working three jobs. They're also trying to further a combat sports career because you're only getting paid 5 and 5 to go out there and fight.
Right. I mean, you can look at it like that, but for me, I did that. I was like, before I actually started making real money, I was working. I worked a regular job, but luckily I used to be a personal trainer, so I worked in a gym. So that was a good thing. I literally worked in a gym. When I had clients, I would train with my clients. I would always be doing stuff. So yeah, it's when you're on a lower level, that's just kind of what it is. That's kind of how you have to go. You have to work a job. You have to do it. Unless you have a manager that is paying your bills, or somebody that's you making money some type of way. But the money, at the end of the day, the money does have to come from somewhere. So I think for me, I think it builds character because listen, I did all that. I used to, like, my first 10 fights, man, like 4 or 5 of those I fought for free. Literally, it's for free, $0. So, well, they have to pay you, so they give you a $1 check, so I did that. But I all they had when I was coming up, they had a lot of guys that was they managers was paying their bills, and I always wished I can have that. And literally, all those guys fell off, and I was the only one. I was the only one that made it. So when you're doing that, when you're working jobs and stuff, it does build your character up. So for me, it was a good thing. Now, everybody else not as lucky as I am, and everybody not gonna be as persistent. Some people be like, man, fuck that, I quit. And but I just wasn't like that. I stuck with it, and through working, and I never had a manager that had money. I never had a manager that paid my bills at literally nothing. I mean, I had to do everything myself, but it built my character, and it made me more appreciative than everybody else.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like there is a silver lining to it, because I think in parts of it you weed out the guys or girls for that matter that are just in it for the money. They're not in it for the love of it, or the thrill of it, or the wanting to compete and push yourself to your next level. So I
Hmm.
think a lot of times it does weed out the people who truly love the sport, to the people who just are using it for a paycheck.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're right. It definitely does. You know, it when yeah when you fighting for free and stuff like that, you're like, damn, do I really want to do this? And I always know I knew that's what I wanted to do since I was young. I wanted to be a professional athlete since I was little. You know, and so I luckily I found my calling at a young age. Most people don't find their calling. You know, but I did. I knew since I was like I said since I was young, I wanted to be a professional athlete. And then I did a bunch of sports, and I found boxing maybe like when I was 14, and then I started taking it more serious, like probably after Hurricane Katrina, like 17, 18. That's when I start really taking it serious. But um yeah, that's what I want to do. So it wasn't even about the money, you know. I just love what I was doing.
Now, during your career, you're able to be a 2-time world champion.
Hmm.
What means more to you, the championship belts, or being a family man, being a dad, being a brother?
At the time it was the belts, but now it's different. Like you go through different stages in your life, you know, like now, and to be honest with you, I retired because like it's a few things. I retired now because I didn't love it no more. I just didn't love the sport no more. Like I not love it. I still love boxing, but I'm not obsessed with it like I used to be. I used to really be obsessed with boxing. I would read about boxing all day. I would study boxing. I would just do that. So I retired because of that. And then with my kids, I'll be honest, like me and my wife been going through some stuff, so I really have to be here with my kids now. If I had this, luckily I went through this stuff now in my career. Like when I'm pretty much at the end of my road, I'm going through this stuff. But if I went through this when I was, you know, or starting off, all right, starting off, I wouldn't be able to do this stuff, you know. So now it's more of my family, you know. Because I'm established now. I'm established, and I did what I wanted to do. I became a 2-time champion. But if I when I was younger, my belts, my legacy was more important. It was more important. That was boxing was the most important thing in my life. Basically, it wasn't my family. It wasn't. I mean, obviously, your kids are important, your family's important, but boxing was very important to me when I was younger. As I'm older now, it's like I don't wanna be gone so long. Like when you're in training camp, man, you miss everything. You have to be gone. Like as an athlete, bro, you gotta be selfish and you gotta be just all about you. And that's just not the way to live as you get older. When you're young, it's cool. When your kids young, but my kids, I got 3 kids and they can, at 12, 9, and 5, So of course the 5-year-old, she not gonna remember, but
Yeah, you're at those ages where you
they
don't
need
want
me,
to miss a second
Yeah, I'm
anymore.
at the
So
age where, basically my kids, they need me now. I have to do things with them, in this developmental year. So, like it's like, all right, do I stay in boxing and risk my health? And I got podcasts and stuff too, and I'm gonna talk about that. But it's like, yeah, I don't want to stay in this and risk my health because I know, bro, I can be a 3-time champion. I can do it again. I definitely can. I know how good I am. I still train every day, but I just don't want to be in training camp and away from my kids like I was. Because I know if I want to, bro, I could be a champion again. I could go to 147 and fight and be a 3-time champion. But is it worth my health? Is it worth like being away from my kids? Probably not. So now being with my family and stuff, that's more important. And really, and then my health is more important also. Because I like for me, I fought with a lot of passion, a lot of heart, and bro, like when I fought, bro, you gotta kill me to get like to for me to stop, bro, you gotta kill me. Now people did outbox me before, but bro, you damn near got to for me to stop and not keep swinging no more. You damn near gotta kill me or knock me out. I never been knocked out before, but if bro, I can have a piece of my brain hanging out, bro. If I'm up, I'm gonna go. That's just how I fought, So, but it's just not worth it no more. You don't want to. I never wanted to be one of those older guys those legends. They have legends, and I've been to the Hall of Fame weekends and stuff like in Kansas, New York. And man, you go to these Hall of Fame weekends, and man, these legends, they all messed up. So what's
all
the
of them, and it doesn't have to be the legends. I've talked to
well, yeah, don't have it
more
could
than
be
a handful
anybody.
of
Yeah,
boxes, and you could see TBI, CTE, stuff like that going in. And a lot
right.
of you guys, you know what you sign up for when you get in there, right?
I mean, we know we sign up for, but it's after a certain age it affects you more. And a
Hmm.
lot of people don't know when to get out. I knew when to get out. Like I just listen, bro. One day it was one day in camp. I remember this vividly. It was a Thursday, right? And so usually we spar Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Tuesday and Thursdays are drill days. Drill days are they're hard, bro. Drill days are real hard. They just aggravate, tedious. And it was Thursday, and bro, as soon as I got to the gym, I was like, I don't want to be here. I just woke up like I woke up feeling that way, and I really didn't want to fight. I didn't want to fight. I'm glad I fought. I fought in this last fight, but I really didn't want to fight the whole time. Almost probably really it hit me like the last 3 weeks. It really hit me that I just did not want to be there. I'm glad I did because I got it out of my system. If I didn't, I'll be guessing. I'll be second guessing myself. Like, damn, do I still have this? And I'll be back in training camp doing that stuff. But I'm glad for me, I got this out the way. But yeah, bro, that's how it was.
And listen, it's very good to be self-aware and going out on your terms, not being told by somebody, hey, you don't got it no more. Hey, maybe you should think about this. Maybe you should think about that.
Hmm.
And you're doing it for the right reasons. Dude, like I would do, like if I was in your position, I'd do the same thing because I have this an infinity love for my kids, and I would do, I'd bend gravity if I could for them. So
Right.
like, I definitely feel you there. So my thing is, what if you're one of your kids come to you in like 2 years, be like, Dad, why don't you fight anymore? Like, what? When are we gonna see you fight again? So if some
No.
promoter came to you, whether it be boxing, let it be bare knuckle, would
Hmm.
you take an opportunity or a one off in that point in time where you're not sacrificing too much of your time,
It
health, etc.,
depends.
or is it this is I'm fully done right now? Is it somebody's gonna have to throw like 200 stacks on my table before I even think about it?
200 stacks not enough. Definitely not enough for me. No, but no, definitely not. I mean, listen, I'm gonna. I know that I feel like this now, and most likely I will miss it. But it's like, is it worth your health? That's the thing. I mean, my time
You
and stuff.
can't take that back.
You can't
You
take your
can't
help
take that.
back. You can't take your help back. You can't take your time back. So like, is it worth that? Listen, I'm not gonna lie. The bare knuckle thing did interest me. It does, and I got a contract. I actually had a contract from I think the BKFC. They gave me a contract. But it's like. Right now, I do want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy retirement life. I don't want to think about boxing. I don't want to think about fighting right now. I want to change right now what I've been working on. I've been in the gym. I'm trying to change my body. I'm trying to change my physique. I do want to add muscle. I want to get bigger. I have just way more stuff to do than like my life is. I always felt like boxing kind of held me back in life, like because when you not now, like I was saying earlier, like I'm more busier. I'm way more busier now than when I was boxing. Like when you boxing, you just be in the gym all day. That's it. You know what you could be doing all day. It's long, but you in a gym in training camp. Listen, bro, like when you in training camp, you gotta train. You go back to the house, take a shower, eat, take a nap, get back up, train again, then try to chill out again, and then go eat, go train again. It's just like all day long. You're just doing that. Now I have so much. I have free time, but it's like I'm being productive. I'm doing so many different things. I get called every day with different opportunity. Almost every day, literally, almost every day I get called with some type of opportunity. So, I mean, the thing my dad told me, he was like, bro, your daughter, my youngest daughter, she not gonna even remember me as a fighter. She not. She's 5, so she don't know. My son, he walked to the ring with me and stuff. That'll be with him forever. My middle daughter, she saw me on TV and stuff like that. She see the pictures, she remember those things. But my youngest, she remember me by something else, probably as a bodybuilder or something like that. She'll say my daddy was a body. What my daddy did, my
Yeah.
dad was a body. He did something else. He was always in shape. He was swole, but she won't know me as a fighter. So I mean, but I do love boxing. So it depends. One day maybe, but most likely I probably won't because at the same time it's the health thing, the health risk, and I don't want to be. I don't. They have, like I said, man. They have those great fighters. That's great fighters, and they don't have
Muhammad
they.
Ali. I mean, it didn't escape Muhammad, and Muhammad's one of
I mean, that's
the
just. I mean,
go to
that's
boxing.
that's
If you
was the
really
greatest
talk about
ever, bro. Yeah, that's like the greatest ever. But they got way more. Like it's just one example. That's the most famous one. But man, I go to the Hall of Fame weekends and bro, so many people messed up. So it's like, man, I don't want to be like that. Like, what's the point? What's the purpose? All right, you great for 30 years or great for 10, 15 years, and then after that you go downhill and you have to you might die when you're 80 years old, 85 years old, so you have to live 50 years like that messed up. What's the point of that? It's no. I don't.
not just that, like you also have to think like if you don't have the proper family set up, someone else is gonna have to take care of you.
Exactly right.
And it's like, do you want to be a burden to somebody else just because you wanted
Hmm.
one more fight, one more round?
Right.
You don't want to be hurting like that because you can't like I said it's something you can't take back. And you're talking
Mhm.
about other ventures you were doing. You mentioned a podcast, so I definitely got to ask about this. What type of content are you going to be doing? Are you going to be doing sports related content? Are you going to be doing fitness related content? Are you going to talk about everything that's going on in
I
this
mean,
crazy rap scene around?
right now, bro, it's just gonna be me talking. It's me and the guy that wrote my book. We doing it together. We only filmed about 3 episodes so far, So we gonna just we gonna roll those out when it's time, and eventually get it big enough to have guests and all that type of stuff on it. And I'm be streaming and stuff too. So yeah, that's something that's just something small I'm gonna work on. That's just more for, I mean, for me and but more for him to do stuff, but. I have just so many ventures, bro. Like so many ventures I'm doing. But yeah, the podcast is just one of the small ones, I think. Until if it blows and it blows, and we'll see. But it's something that we kind of both are doing because I have a lot of knowledge to share with a lot of people, and not just boxing knowledge, but I have a lot of life knowledge.
All right, two more. The book, man. You got to tell me about the book.
Book right here, baby. Book right here. See that,
That up so you can see that. There you go.
Yeah, that's right there. Cost stories and lessons. For me. So like Ross, my partner Ross Williams, he wrote it, and it's man, a lot of books when they have biographies, autobiographies, they might miss certain things, but man, he got this thing spot on, man. Like I of course I had to read a bunch of times and go back, and damn it, everything in this book is like really really spot on. So and another thing, we actually doing a part two. Most likely it'll be a series movie, something like that, cartoon, whatever. We working on that type of stuff. But um, yeah, we this one is like the start of my life. This stopped after I became a two-time world champion. And right now we're working on part two. And that's actually gonna be more, it'll be way more stuff in that one because my life kinda, after I became a two-time world champion, that's when my life kinda flipped for real.
Now, one question I always ask all my new guests, we were kind of loosely touching on it. Um, we hear the name goat be thrown around so much in
Right.
today's sporting world, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm frankly sick of it because I think it's disrespectful to more than a handful of other athletes, fighters, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I uniquely think combat sports is the hardest one to do anything with because you have so many different variables.
Right.
Different time frames. There's some guys, even before Ali's era, that you could
Yeah.
sit there and say, maybe there were some of the greatest of all time.
Right. Of course.
I still think the '80s to the 2000s was the golden age of boxing.
Okay.
I just don't think you have the superstar power that from that time till now. I think is it you have different weight classes. You got men, you got women. It's so hard to do this, and I say the only way it's fair to do anything is Mount Rushmore. You get four choices. So
Hmm.
if you're making your own Mount Rushmore, doesn't even it could be just combat sports in general. It doesn't have to be boxing, but I assume yours is going to be boxing one way or another, anyways.
Yeah. Of course.
Who's your Mount Rushmore of the greatest boxers? And four is still, I still think four isn't enough.
Four isn't enough. It's not. It's really not enough. Four isn't definitely not enough. I I gotta do 5 or 6 to be honest. Four, because I really study boxing. I'm a historian. So
I want to hear it. I want to hear it, dude. Because
man,
listen,
I think, huh,
boxing is what got me into sports. Period.
right. We gotta put Ali. We gotta put Floyd Mayweather. We gotta put them, and we
Game
gotta put
changers in their own ways, and
yeah, and we
the fact
gotta
that
put Ali, Floyd
Floyd still
Mayweather.
has that O attached to his record is
Right.
beyond me.
Ali, Floyd Mayweather. We gotta put Ray Robinson,
Sugar Ray, yep.
Sugar Ray Robinson. Man, and if you had to put the four and the five, I would put like I'll put a Joe Lewis on there. I'll put somebody like a Joe Lewis because of what he did. It's so many different things. All right. That's four right there. I leave.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like you could probably go through 10 if you really
I
wanted
really honestly, bro, I really could, bro. I mean,
So
I could
can
do
I.
10
Just
just
because
heavyweight.
listen, I was the geek, dude. Anytime when I was a kid, anything boxing related, if I could find it, book, video, whatever. When I was an '80s, '90s
All
kid.
right. So what's your 4? Give me 4 for you.
Man, all right, Mike Tyson, because he was my guy, dude. I'm not gonna,
Okay.
maybe not have the greatest end to his career, but you got to remember, I was born in 1980, so when I started becoming aware of everything going around me, who was the most scariest man on the planet? It was Mike Tyson.
Right.
Bernard Hopkins.
Okay. Got it.
Roy Jones Jr.
Got it.
Vinny Panzianza.
Why Vinny? You know him?
I've had the fortunate, was able to interview him a few times. He's a crazy dude. You gotta love him. His story alone, just breaking your neck, having everyone in the world telling you can't do this anymore. You can't do this anymore. Not only did he do it, he did it his freaking way.
Right.
And again, maybe not have the greatest overall career, dude. Getting in there with Roberto Duran, all that, moving up weight classes, like he did some things at the time. It was a no. You weren't supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that at this age. So,
right.
And he fought Floyd's dad too.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Lost. Obviously, I think it was. I think it was like one. I think that was what was 154 was the total.
Okay.
So I mean, he leaves a mark on it, and obviously, like I could go and say Vander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. We can name all these guys from that era that were amazing.
Right.
It's so hard.
It's hard. I don't think honestly, bro. I saw Jordan say there's no such thing as a GOAT. It's because you can't compete with it's different eras. There may be an era of that GOAT, but you can't ever say who's a GOAT. Because it's different eras. That person didn't compete. Same thing with not Michael Jordan, with basketball. When you got Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, then Michael Jordan and them came, and then you got Kobe and LeBron and and Iverson and Penny Hardaway, and it's just so many different people. You can go down the list. So it's no such thing as I think the GOAT debate.
It becomes more of an argument in other sports for whatever reason. Like Tom Brady's the GOAT. I'm like, well, Joe Montana never lost a Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm like, he's 6-0. I'm like, just because Tom went to more, we call him the GOAT now.
Yeah, it's to go to that era. I mean, I guess if you're going to that, it's to go to that
really
era.
Subjective. Like it's really up to when you got involved with whatever sport it is. And I'm not these ones that like tear LeBron down, but I just don't think he's on that level, and it's for other things. I think he's a generational talent. I think that there's without a doubt he'll probably be one of the top 3 to top 5 NBA players that have ever played the game, but there's just certain obstacles he won't ever be able to cross. He can win 2 more world titles and leave him tied with Michael Jordan. I just wouldn't put him there because the way Michael did it was different than the way LeBron did it.
Right,
and it's just more how he carries himself on the court and things of that nature. You didn't see Michael go and having hissy fits when he didn't get a call and going running with his arms up in the air, running up and down the court like somebody like stole his purse or something.
Right.
Something Mike didn't do. When LeBron gets blown out in a game, he's off the court before the clock hits 0. Michael Jordan never did that.
Right.
So it's why I won't put him on that same level as where I view Jordan at, but it doesn't mean that LeBron isn't on. The fact that we're talking about a 17-year-old kid that defied all the odds, broke all the records, and doing all that, and there's no scandals around him. Like you have to give him credit for that. Not only that, he's basically, if you think about it, the Cal Ripken of basketball, right?
Right.
No one's played longer than LeBron James, so of course some of those coinciding records all go with it. But he is the face of this generation. So along what we were talking about, he is this generation's quote unquote GOAT.
Right.
But like you said, there was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and there was guys with there was Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell before them. So it's like there's so many different ways you can look at it, and I just think it's an impossible question. But
Mhm.
no, we're a little bit past the time we said we're gonna do this. What I
Uh-huh.
typically do here at the end is kind of throw the proverbial microphone over to you, brother. Anyone you would like to thank, any sponsors that you still might have that may be supporting you, anything that you're working on, like in the community, etc., that you want to share with the people. The time is yours, my friend.
Oh man, first off, always grab that book. Everybody go grab a book. It's on Amazon right now. Grab a book. If you haven't, working on part two. And I always thank everybody for supporting me throughout my career, but most likely most people gonna see me actually more because now I'm more free. I don't have to stay in the gym and train all day. I can go to a bunch of events. And I keep working on. I'm always working on something, bro. Like I keep myself very busy. I'm good at time management. So yeah, we have my nonprofit. I have a few fighters reaching out to me to manage them. Probably do start. I did the promotion company. I started the promotion company already, so might start doing that. Books, TV, movies. I do real estate, of course, stocks. I do a bunch of things, So yeah. But as far as and then maybe one day they might see me in a fight. So I'm not gonna say in the ring. I'm not gonna say nothing, but I still do love boxing, but I'm just not in love with it no more. So for me, it all depends. But what you name 200, that's not enough to get me in the ring at all. Absolutely not. Definitely not. No, I make way more
And
than
I
that.
was just throwing
Talking
a
about
hypothetical number out there too.
nah, that's way too small. You know what I'm saying? So
Man,
for me, absolutely not. I can't. No, I
they're gonna
can't
have
do.
to have two duffel bags for my man to get him back in there.
Yeah, brother, I can't. That ain't enough. I can
Like I
still go
said, it's
far.
just doing what you're doing right now. If you feel the way you feel, what's
Hmm.
going on in your life, it makes sense, dude. Like, and I wouldn't change that path for nothing because, like we
Hmm.
said, man, you can't take it back, and then the time you lose out, you can't
Right.
replace that. You
Right.
know, you know,
Yep.
though your kids are at that time where yeah, you have to be there because they
My
need their
kids
parents
need.
more than any time they'll ever admit it. They may admit it to you, but like
Hmm.
outwardly they'll never, I just need my dad, I just need my mom, and you have a
Right.
lot of people who don't have that. They're
Hmm.
not having the luxury of having dad and having mom around, etc. So
Hmm.
take care of them little ones, man. Take
Of
care of
course.
yourself. Continue to find ways in this world to get that dollar another way. Put some smiles on people's faces. Put some
Yep.
smiles on yours too, my friend.
You're right. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing.
So appreciate the time. We're definitely gonna do this again sometime. Maybe we'll put a
Hmm.
panel together, talk some trash with some other combat sport fighters, and
Right.
get our thoughts on what's going on in the world. Because let's be honest, from the time you started now to the time where we are right now, would you thought that pay-per-view would be a dead model and everything would be streaming?
No, of
There's
course
no
not.
free boxing on terrestrial TV anymore.
Nope.
We're in a
It
weird
just
time
changed.
in
Yeah, we
combat
in a weird
sports.
time. I mean, the things, it always changed, bro. That's the thing in boxing. Like combat sports, period, is always evolving. Everything is always changing. It's always somebody with a lot of money that's gonna come in and try to change things. They want to do it their way. So right now, of course, we have Turkey, and that's just the latest person that's doing it. But before that, man, you gotta realize like they had so many people. They had 50 Cent got in the box and Jay-Z with Rock Nation. Wait, they had Jay-Z with Rock Nation came in. They had MLK Black, BLK Black. They had Probellum. They had The Zone. The Zone is still in. They just had so many people that came in. Showtime. It was just HBO at that time. It had so many people. So now it's just changing. It's changing up once again. So now it's Turkey's throwing all the money around, but eventually, bro. The one thing in boxing, the well always dries up. No matter what, that well will always dry up in boxing, no matter what. So right now, Turkey just have a bigger. He got deeper pockets, but everybody coming with deep pockets, they always want to do the same thing, and eventually they start losing money and they get out. Once they start losing that money, they get out. So we'll see what happens next.
Like you said, you really gotta love the sport.
Exactly. I love this sport, bro.
So appreciate your time this
No
evening, brother.
problem.
Go
Yep.
enjoy your time with your family, and we
Yep.
definitely got to do it again in the future, my friend.
Yes, sir, bro. Thank you, brother. I'll let you, bro.
Likewise, have a good one, brother.
Yep, you too.
All right, everyone. That should do it for another fun episode of The Real and the Rare here on the South Florida Tribune. My friends, if you haven't already, please hit that QR code up top. Make sure you're showing us love on the YouTube channel. We are within, I believe we are within 20 subscribers to hitting 2K on the YouTube channel. You know, big things coming in the coming weeks and months. You know, interviews, content, giveaways. So, guys, please make sure you're showing us love on all the platforms. But other than that, I'm Steve. This was another episode of The Real and the Rare. We will catch you guys on the rebounds, my friends. Peace out.